wasn't even an issue. A designer's first requirement is to make it fast.
The racetracks hadn't changed, the medical facilities hadn't changed, and suddenly the cars were going almost twice as fast.
Can you tell us a little bit about the film and what you wanted to achieve?
I had done a film called Once in a Lifetime about the New York Cosmos, and Jonathan had seen that and said, you know, we should do a Formula One film that has that energy, that is in that vein, and Paul would be perfect for it. Michael was now producer, and so that's how the idea was born. And Jonathan wrote a basic sort of outline, and then we developed that outline with my partner Mark Monroe, who wrote the script for this film, and then started taking that out on the pitch. So that's where, you know, that's how it started.
It's interesting because as a viewer, it's very apparent there is such a great portrayal of the 70s era. There's obviously real affection for it. And I love that quote from Jackie Stewart, that was the time when motor racing was dangerous and the sex was safe.
Yeah, that's a classic quote, and I've heard him use it a couple of times since, but yeah, exactly. I mean, it was that, you know, that was the deal. Driving was dangerous, sex was safe, and it was a very sort of, that was what's so great. Not only were they essentially, unfortunately, gladiators because the risks were so high, you know, they were on that vein. They were, you know, the public kind of treated them that way, and the press did, you know, and essentially the sporting governing body did, you know, was like, well, if you don't have to do this, you know, we're not locking you in a cage and taking you from slavery and making you go fight the lions. You know, you're choosing to go fight the lions. You know what's in there. You know they're dangerous. You know, the attitude was, if it's too dangerous, slow down. So, you know, that's what they were dealing with. And there was a constant fight from Jackie Stewart and forming the Grand Prix Drivers Association and building, you know, awareness, and the drivers constantly, you know, arguing and trying to get the tracks to be safer, but that means costing money. They don't have to spend the money. Why should we spend the money, you know? Those are the days when they used to call and have to pay for the TV companies to come down.
We are like 21 drivers established in Grand Prix racing. Your odds are 7-1 to survive. Colin told me, Emerson, I don't want to get too close to you. And you know the risk you have. And anytime I can lose you.
Sever's going to be your danger, I reckon. You beat him, I reckon you win the race.
That was Colin Chapman.
Something that intrigued me was your split credit as director and editor. And I'm thinking that how they overlap with each other in this film, particularly when it's built around, I can't imagine how many hours of footage you had to go through.
Within this project, what was fabulous was Mike Shelroff was the producer, associate producer was Jonathan Bracy-Gibbon, Mike Montgomery, who was doing research, Formula One fan, my assistant editor, Jamie Bowen, Formula One nutcase. So everyone was looking at the footage. Everyone was going, oh, you know, we got this. You've got to see this. You have, you know, so helping sort of like pick the cherries. It was a very collaborative effort in that respect. Everyone had some ideas. We should see this. Let's find this. I remember this footage when I was growing up. Oh, I can't believe what we've just found. So that helped in that process. But as I say, as far as having to deal with a director and, you know, him not, you know, you guys finding your rhythm, that stage is already taken care of, you know, because, you know, I'm the guy. So when you're out in the field, it's a lot more helpful because you know exactly what you want to get.
What do you want people to take away from this film once they've sat there and enjoyed it?
What I'm hoping is that it will make more people appreciate the sport that you're watching today. If you've just come into the sport in the last 20 years, you know, due for no other reason than you were just born in the last 20 years, you know, to know what its roots really are and how it almost, the sport, if it had continued the way it was, it probably would have had to have gone away. It had to fix itself in order for it to be successful. So it's an incredible sport to watch, you know, an incredible spectacle. You know, the circus comes to town in a lot of these places every weekend, and they put up these incredible events for a whole weekend and then pack off and go to the next race. There's only a handful of circuits that are self-contained. So that's an incredible thing. And the racing and the driving level and the safety level, the most important thing is that we all survive and we all benefit from all this safety. It's all in our cars. Everything that we have, the safety in our cars, all derives from Formula One safety. The amount of work and money they spend and effort they do for driving safety as a rule is the most important thing. And that's what we have to, really take away from this. Love the sport, see this incredible legacy that it sits upon the shoulders, and understand that we're all 100 times safer in our cars now due to the Formula One technology that we now have in every car that we drive.
Whatever is happening to a car, there should be no reason to die in a car.
It's almost like you have control of the danger.
That's why it's such a fantastic sport. It pioneers the evolution of the car and going faster.